আসসালামু আলাইকুম অ্যান্ড ভেরি গুড ইভিনিং। যুক্তরাজ্য সহ পৃথিবীর যে যেখানে বসে এনটিভি ইউরোপের রেগুলার প্রোগ্রাম কমিউনিটি ম্যাটার্স দেখছেন, আপনাদের সবাইকে শুভেচ্ছা সহ স্বাগতম। বরাবরের মতো আজকেও আপনাদের সাথে আছি আমি আদনান পাভেল। আপনারা যারা রেগুলারলি কমিউনিটি ম্যাটার্স দেখেন, আপনারা জানেন কমিউনিটি ম্যাটার্স আপনাদের অনুষ্ঠান, আপনাদের নিয়ে অনুষ্ঠান। আমরা সবসময় চেষ্টা করি কমিউনিটি ম্যাটার্সে এমন সব গুরুত্বপূর্ণ বিষয়ে কথা বলতে যা কিনা ব্রিটিশ বাংলাদেশি বা বাংলাদেশি কমিউনিটির উপর প্রভাব ফেলছে বা অদূর ভবিষ্যতে প্রভাব ফেলতে পারে। আজও তার ব্যতিক্রম নয়। আজকে আমরা কথা বলবো এক্সিকিউটিভ মেয়র অফ টাওয়ার হ্যামলেটস, মেয়র জন বিক্স। মেয়র জন বিক্সের সাথে আজকে আমরা কথা বলবো টাওয়ার হ্যামলেটস নিয়ে, টাওয়ার হ্যামলেটসের বিভিন্ন উন্নয়নমূলক প্রজেক্টগুলো নিয়ে আজকে আমরা কথা বলার চেষ্টা করব। এবং উনি যতদিন এই পজিশনে আছেন, আমাদের কমিউনিটির জন্য কি করেছেন বা কি ধরনের প্রজেক্ট নিয়ার ফিউচার করার প্ল্যান প্রোগ্রাম আছে তা নিয়েও আমরা কথা বলার চেষ্টা করব। John, thank you so very much for joining us today. I was giving my introduction in Bengali that we mainly try to focus on this program about any issues concerning British Bangladeshi or Bangladeshi community in UK, and part of the is actually having a conversation with Executive Mayor of Tower Hamlets, which is you, Mayor John Biggs. So thank you very much once again for your time today. It's very cold outside. I was struggling to come on time. How are you feeling today? How are you?
Well, I'm feeling pretty good, and good evening and welcome, and assalamu alaikum, and can I thank your station for inviting me to come and be accountable, and I hope you give me a hard time. It's a powerful job.
Thank you very much. I mean, one of the responsibilities of media in 21st century is to hold politicians into account about their activities, about the projects they are doing, and also at the same time work as a bridge between people, common people, your voters, people those who have elected you and you. So we're trying to do this thing today as well. So if you have something to say for our viewers, if we start that as an initial statement, if you have something to say for our viewers, and then we'll take it, we'll go to questions from then on.
No, certainly. So it's a great pleasure to be here, and I've been mayor for almost 3 years now, since the previous mayor was removed controversially by a judge. And it's a great privilege to be the mayor of Tower Hamlets. It's quite a powerful job, and it's quite a demanding job. In some ways it's an impossible job because there are so many different challenges in the community.
Right.
And as you say, this programme particularly focuses on the needs of the British Bangladeshi community, and that's Tower Hamlets is of course the centre of the British Bangladeshi community. Indeed, it's the centre of the Bangladeshi community in the whole of Europe. And so what happens here is really important to the community and gives very strong messages, and it's about leadership and about developing the community. So I guess the starting point is that the community, I've lived in this area for 38 years now.
38 years.
38 years. And in that time, the journey that the British Bengali community has been on has been
so
quite
you have seen
amazing.
the changes.
I've seen those changes,
right.
yes. That visible changes in terms of the quality of life, the success of people in the education system, growing prosperity, but still massive needs as well. So as the Mayor of Tower Hamlets, you've got an enormous duty to serve everyone, but that includes providing support and leadership and a voice and a platform for the Bengali community in the East End of London. So we've achieved a lot. There's a lot more to be done. People are being priced out of our borough by the day because of the high rent levels. So if you're lucky enough to have a council flat or a housing association property, that's great. If you bought a place, that's great as well. But if you're on the waiting list, it's a long, long wait. So one of my objectives has been to build more houses, to fight on behalf of local people for the money to build more houses as well. So we're building something over 1,000 social houses a year, and we have a target of another 1,000 council homes over the next 2-3 years. And following the election, if I'm still the mayor, I want to build another 1,000 on top of that. So we need to try and meet the needs in the borough. We also need to work very hard to get the community into a place where people are more prosperous and better able to look after themselves, to pay their way, to pay the rent, to bring up their kids in the quality of life that they want. And so we're doing quite a lot of work on work and skills and getting people into work. There's other real big priorities, so community safety. So I know people are apprehensive about the fear of attack and crime, very fearful about the influence, particularly on young men, of the drugs business. So putting priority and resources into that to try and get more police into the borough, which is difficult at a time of cuts, work on antisocial behaviour, give support to young people so that they are helped to stay on a good path and achieve things which bring great pride to their families and great success for themselves. Those things are real big priorities for me.
Right. Thank you very much, John. You mentioned about some of the very important points, particularly quality of life, education, and then the struggle for local council in terms of getting the money from central government to build more houses, and there are bureaucracies and red tapes from central government as well. And you also mentioned about social housing and then how to tackle antisocial behavior as well. You mentioned that you have seen so many so many changes during your time as a local resident. Would you be able to mention a few of those positive changes that you have seen in East
Well,
End?
okay. So when I first came here, people were very, very fearful of physical racial attacks, for
Right.
example. And so in Brick Lane, every Sunday, the National Front would be there, and young people like myself, people from the Bengali community, people from across the community would be standing and challenging them. We'd have the police there. People would move into a new home in a part of the borough which didn't have many Bengali families in it and would face racial abuse and in
Right.
some cases assaults. And I think it's really good that we moved on, so young people today maybe hear from their parents or their grandparents about that but don't experience that direct violence. But there is still a problem with discrimination. So that's one visible example. Another example would be I lived in a tower block in Cable Street. I'd look out of my window and there would be 6 cars in the whole of Christian Street. If you look up Christian Street now, there are about 70 cars and there's nowhere to park. Maybe that's a sign of prosperity. Maybe that's a sign that people are being too lazy and shouldn't have so many cars. But that's a change as well.
Right.
The old docks were empty and now they're covered in apartment buildings. On the Isle of Dogs, we have a 75-story apartment building being built. When I came here, you could buy a house for £50,000-60,000, and now you couldn't buy one very easily for less than 10 times that,
Right.
which means that people just can't. So there's big
Right.
changes. Some are positive. And again, when I came here, the schools were not very good. So kids didn't come out with very good exam results, and now
Thank you.
we're above those average figures.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll talk more about the changes that you have seen and a few of the important points you made. We need to go for a commercial break. সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, আজকে কমিউনিটি ম্যাটার্সে আমরা কথা বলছি কনভারসেশন উইথ এক্সিকিউটিভ মেয়র অফ টাওয়ার হ্যামলেটস। আমরা যাবো একটা বিরতিতে, আমাদের সাথেই থাকবেন।